Hey everybody, and welcome to Tiny Life Takeover. Construction on Tiny has slowed down a little bit, so because we're waiting on several things to continue the build, I just wanted to answer a couple of questions. So Q&A Sunday, there's 4 things that I'm asked often. I figured it'd be a good thing to tell you guys about it. Number 1 is the cost of the tiny house. Number 2 is where am I building it, why this spot. Number 3 is the design, what's my inspiration and kind of the layout that I have in my mind. And number 4 is when do I anticipate moving in. So I'm going to answer these few questions, just a shorter video, but I appreciate you guys watching, and I just want to give you a little something while we're waiting for the construction to continue. One of the first questions that I'm asked all the time is, how much is this going to cost? So the cost of the tiny house, I'm anticipating $40,000 in materials. In a build, typically you would double it because of the labor. In my case, I'm so fortunate that my father is around, has the skills, and I could help him with it, so we're saving so much in that. But also it's the design decisions and what you end up with, the appliances and whatnot. So $40,000 in material is what we're planning for the end build to be. Right now, with what you see, we're about the halfway mark. Compared to a mortgage, it's pretty low, but I'm not doing this on the cheap, so I'm not choosing materials that I'm recycling or reusing from previous builds. The real thing that I'm doing here is I want to reduce what I have, but make what I have high quality. So let's talk about why I picked this spot. I've done some traveling around the world, I've done a few mission trips. And my dad, one day he asked me, he said, where is this one spot on this globe that you feel is home? And really, that spot right there by the fire pit, I think I've spent so much time there enjoying a fire, as growing up here as a kid, gardens, my grandparents, my family, canoeing. I mean, it's one of these spaces where when I'm here I feel I can breathe. I grew up in this area. This is where my grandparents had a house on top of the hill, and my aunts and uncles all had cottages down here. So I grew up going from one cottage to the other, playing kick the can, which is hide and seek in our terms, making bonfires, canoeing, swimming. So really enjoying that time, summertime and all. And I always thought, why can't we just live in a cottage by the river? If we enjoy this so much, why do we go? Why do we work and try to make this money to buy this big house and then eventually build a little cottage? We have access to this land, and I've always wanted to see what it would be like to simply live here year-round. So when do I anticipate moving in? Good question. This build started May 2018. I anticipate that by next summer, everything should be in place for me to move in. And I say that simply because I don't want to rush things. I can't get a mortgage for this, so to be able to get all the money up front, buy everything, line it up, and just build as fast as possible was not sustainable for me. So for me, I'm making some sacrifices in order to be able to invest time and money into something that, for me, it's a dream come true, and it really matters, and it's an investment in my life, which I will take with me for a long time. So taking my time, hopefully by next summer, I'll be able to move in. So clearly this is going up fast throughout the summer, and the inside is going to take a little bit of time, but it's also the money. And when the money's available, paying things down and trying not to get overloaded with debt, because that's one thing that I don't want to deal with again, is that prison of debt. Another question that I get is, what does the design look like? So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to show you my inspiration on how I even came up with the idea for this. So a few years ago, while I was researching tiny houses and cottages and whatnot, I fell on this one video from Anna White.
Hello from Alaska. My name is Anna White, and together with my husband, we build things.
It was super interesting for me to see this particular model because in Alaska, it's cold, things freeze, so they had to build sort of this self-contained unit. So you're going to see some of the design elements that she has decided to put in this one tiny house that she had put together in this tiny house that I'm building here. So one of the first features that I really liked was the elevator bed. So that's one thing that I'm going to try to incorporate, because to me, once you use the bed at night, you want to have enough headroom so that you can not knock your head, and I happen to be a little taller, so it's tough for me to not feel claustrophobic if I'm in a small space. And then during the day, once you're done using that space, to crouch down under it while there's nothing going on top, for me seems like a waste. So I wanted to lift that bed platform up so that you're using the maximum amount of room inside the tiny house. The second piece about Anna's design that I really liked were the large windows, one on each side. So clearly you can see through the tiny house right now because I have those two big picture windows as big as I could fit in the design so that it feels so spacious. And obviously you can see that I've put as many windows as humanly possible in such a small space. The third element of the design is to be able to store everything inside. So one cool factor that I really appreciated from Anna's design was to keep the water tank inside of the tiny house. And the way that you do that is you raise the floor up. So we are going to put about 15 inches of a subfloor, and you can put the water underneath the gray water tank if you're using one, and your electronics, but it's also storage. So in the winter time, I won't have to worry that the pipes are freezing. The other point is my parents have hot water on demand, and I've been noticing that when I use their system, it takes a long time for that water to heat up. So in my mind, to be able to sit there, open up the hot water, and have to essentially watch it go down the drain for 30 seconds or a minute to get the temperature that I want, because it's outside and it's cold and it has to heat up, seems a bit of a waste for me. So having the water inside room temperature means that it can be hotter a lot faster, and that's just good all the way around. So that's it, my friends. Thank you so much for watching, joining once again, Tiny Life Takeover. These videos may not continue, and when I have more to share and more to build, I'll make some more videos, and then you'll get notified if you have subscribed and click on that bell. So far, I really appreciate you guys joining me along this journey, and I will post something new as soon as I have something of value, not just something just to keep it going. I'm going to enjoy some of the sunshine and start dreaming about really what this inside needs to be. So thank you again, and God bless.